Most hobbyists never look at the plant. They walk into a pet store, see something green hanging over a tank on a social media post, the idea feels right, and they buy the first thing available. A few months later, they are doing the same water changes as before. The nitrate is still climbing on the same schedule, and the plant is either yellowing, rotting at the base, or growing so aggressively it is taking over the tank. That is not bad luck. That is the wrong plant, chosen without understanding what each one actually does, how long it takes to do it, what conditions it needs to perform, and where it completely fails. Three land plants appear in almost every conversation about natural nitrate control in freshwater tanks: Pothos, peace lily, and spider plant. One requires months before it does anything meaningful and fails entirely in certain setups. One is visually impressive, but demands more from the hobbyist than most realize before the roots hit the water. And one has a biological mechanism that no other plant in this comparison can replicate. A self-expanding cleaning system that builds its own capacity over time without any input from you. Today we find out which one actually cleans your tank. Starting with Pothos, because this is where most hobbyists begin and where a lot of them get frustrated before the plant has done anything wrong. Pothos, botanically known as Epipremnum aureum, is the most widely documented land plant in aquarium applications, and the research behind it is real. In a monitored system documented by Aquarium Co-Op, 7 established Pothos plants dropped nitrate levels from over 57 parts per million to under 34 parts per million over 6 weeks, absorbing 62% of the weekly nitrate load produced by feeding. Aquariumscience.org documents that tropical arums grown with roots in aquarium water provide approximately 75% of the nitrate removal potential of fast-growing surface water plants. That is a legitimate, research-backed cleaning mechanism operating continuously without any product, any electricity, and any recurring cost. The name on the pot gets the attention, but the root system is the only thing that determines whether this plant actually does anything useful in the water. The problem is the transition period, and it is the detail that nobody mentions at the point of sale. Pothos grown in soil has one type of root system designed for extracting nutrients from a soil environment. Pothos with roots in water needs a completely different root architecture designed for absorbing dissolved nutrients directly from the water column. When a soil-grown pothos is transplanted with its existing roots into aquarium water, those roots require 2 to 3 months to convert to functional aquatic roots before meaningful nitrate uptake begins. During those 2 to 3 months, the plant appears to be doing something because it is alive and growing, but the nitrate curve in the tank does not change. The hobbyist concludes that Pothos does not work and removes it 3 weeks before it would have started performing. The solution is documented and straightforward. Stem cuttings propagated directly in aquarium water develop functional aquatic roots within 1 to 2 weeks and begin nitrate absorption almost immediately because they never had soil roots to convert. Always use stem cuttings placed directly into the tank or a container of aquarium water, not transplanted soil plants. That single distinction is the difference between a plant that transforms your nitrate management within a month and a plant that sits there for 2 months producing nothing while you lose confidence in the method. The consistent picture from documented aquarium tests and experienced hobbyists is that established Pothos performs reliably, scales with plant mass rather than plant count, tolerates low indoor light better than either of the other two plants, and requires almost no management beyond keeping the leaves out of the water where they rot and release organic waste. Pothos roots can develop so densely over time in a large tank that they require periodic trimming to prevent restriction of water circulation. That root growth is not a problem. It is the cleaning mechanism expanding its surface area. Every new root tip in contact with the water column is absorbing dissolved nitrate. The trimmed roots are removed from the system, and the nitrate they contained leaves with them permanently. No filter, no chemical treatment, and no resin canister does this. They process what is already in the water. Pothos removes it from the system entirely. Now, peace lily. This one is more complicated than most hobbyists realize, and getting it wrong produces a plant that costs you money, creates more maintenance work, and delivers less nitrate removal than Pothos in most standard aquarium setups. Peace lily, botanically known as Spathiphyllum, appears in the same aquariumscience.org documentation as Pothos, listed alongside it in the tropical arum family, with the same approximately 75% nitrate removal potential relative to floating surface plants when the roots are in the water. The research shows the same mechanism. The plant performance in practice is where the gap opens. Peace lily develops a substantially denser root mass than Pothos, and that density is simultaneously its greatest asset and its primary management problem. In a large tank, a mature peace lily root system provides significant dissolved nutrient contact surface area. In a tank under 40 gallons, that same root mass can restrict water circulation, reduce access to filter intakes, and create dead zones in the water column that require additional flow management to address. Peace lily also requires considerably more light than Pothos to maintain the growth rate that drives nitrate removal. In low light indoor conditions, leaf growth slows, fewer new leaves emerge, and nitrate uptake slows proportionally because the uptake rate is tied directly to how actively the plant is growing. A peace lily receiving adequate indirect light from a window or dedicated grow light above the tank performs consistently. A peace lily in a dark corner survives but does not deliver meaningful nitrate management. One experienced hobbyist documenting peace lily use in an overhead filter system reported consistent results, but noted that reduced lighting caused deterioration in one sump setup, while the overhead unit performed reliably, confirming that light availability is the primary variable determining peace lily performance in aquarium applications. What separates peace lily from Pothos in this comparison is not the nitrate removal mechanism, which is essentially identical on a per root mass basis, but the management requirement and the visual reward. Peace lily is the only plant in this comparison that flowers in aquarium conditions when its light and nutrient requirements are met, producing distinctive white blooms above the tank surface. That visual impact makes it the most rewarding long-term plant for a hobbyist willing to provide adequate light and manage the root mass in smaller setups. For a large display tank of 50 gallons or more, where root mass restriction is not a concern and where a dedicated light source is available above the tank, peace lily outperforms Pothos on visual impact while delivering equivalent nitrate management. For most standard community tanks under 40 gallons in typical indoor light conditions, Pothos delivers better results with less management. Understanding which side of that equation your setup falls on before you buy the plant is the entire game with Peace Lily, which brings everything to spider plant and why the hobbyists who have been quietly running all three of these plants consistently choose spider plant when they want the system to expand on its own without any active management input. Spider plant, botanically known as Chlorophytum comosum, is not a big aquarium store plant. If you shop exclusively at mainstream pet retailers, you will rarely find it recommended for aquarium use, because the conversation about spider plants in aquarium applications lives in specialist hobbyist communities rather than on product shelves. The individual spider plant is not the most impressive nitrate remover in this comparison at the point of introduction. What it does over time is the whole point. Spider plants produce runners, which are long stems extending outward from the mother plant that terminate in fully formed plantlets, complete miniature versions of the mother plant with their own developing root systems. When those runners are allowed to hang their plantlets into aquarium water, each plantlet develops independent aquatic roots and begins absorbing nitrate directly. A single established spider plant in the right conditions produces 5 to 15 runners simultaneously, each carrying a plantlet, each plantlet developing its own root system in the tank, expanding the total nitrate removal surface area continuously without any action required from the hobbyist beyond allowing the process to occur. The tank guide documents that spider plant derives most of its nutritional requirements directly from the nitrates in the water, making it one of the most directly nitrate-dependent plants available for aquarium use. This dependence is what drives its root development in nitrate-rich aquarium water. The higher the nitrate load in the tank, the more aggressively the spider plant root system develops and the more rapidly the plantlets establish. Spider plant also tolerates a wider temperature range than either Pothos or Peace Lily. Pothos and Peace Lily are tropical arums that perform best in warm water conditions consistent with tropical aquarium setups at 24 to 28 degrees Celsius. Spider plant is native to tropical and southern Africa, but has become naturalized in cooler climates and tolerates temperature ranges that overlap with cold water setups, making it the correct choice for goldfish tanks, cold water community tanks, and outdoor pond edge applications where Pothos and Peace Lily would eventually decline. Spider plant is also documented as non-toxic to fish, shrimp, and invertebrates, which matters in tanks where the plant's roots trail directly into the water column alongside livestock. The documented fleet comparison of these three plants across a moderately stocked community tank over 12 months produces a consistent result. Pothos provides the fastest measurable nitrate reduction from the point of correct establishment, delivering reliable performance within 4 to 6 weeks of stem cutting introduction and requiring the least light of the three. Peace Lily delivers equivalent per root mass nitrate uptake, but requires more light, more root management in smaller setups, and a longer establishment period before the root mass reaches full nitrate removal capacity. Spider plant provides the lowest individual plant output at introduction, but builds a self-expanding biological cleaning system over time through its runner and plantlet mechanism that neither of the other two plants can replicate. A spider plant setup that has been running for 12 months with its runners established into a full plantlet network, is not one plant doing the work of one plant. It is a self-sustaining biological system that has been adding cleaning capacity autonomously for the entire time it has been in the tank. Here is what to do the next time you are standing in front of plants deciding which one belongs in your setup. Look at your tank size and your light conditions, not just the plant label. If you have a tropical community tank, typical indoor light conditions, and you want measurable nitrate reduction starting within 4 to 6 weeks of setup with minimal ongoing management, Pothos propagated from stem cuttings in aquarium water is the answer. If you have a large display tank of 50 gallons or more, a dedicated light source above the tank, and you want a plant that delivers nitrate management alongside an aesthetically remarkable display, including the possibility of flowering, Peace Lily is the right choice, and the management requirement is justified by the result. If you have a cold water setup or a goldfish tank where tropical arums are not appropriate, or if you want a biological cleaning system that builds its own capacity over time without active management input, Spider Plant is the most intelligent choice in this comparison because its runner mechanism does work you never have to initiate. For a hobbyist who wants fast results with a single cutting and no maintenance beyond keeping leaves above the waterline, Pothos is the starting point. For 6 months to a year of commitment to a larger setup with the right light, Peace Lily is the long-term display choice. For anyone planning to build a self-managing biological cleaning system that expands its own surface area and keeps expanding it month after month, Spider Plant is the only plant in this comparison that does that autonomously. The plant label is the least important piece of information. The setup, conditions, and the timeline are everything. If this comparison helped you choose the right plant for your specific tank, please like it and subscribe because next week we are covering the 12 forbidden aquarium plant secrets that fertilizer brands have been hiding from beginners for years.